The community impact of a new development in downtown Orlando's entertainment corridor. You're listening to The Wrap from Central Florida Public Media. I'm Brendan Byrne. A new sports and entertainment district called Westcourt is expected to begin construction at the end of this year next to the Kia Center in downtown Orlando. The Orlando City Council last week approved a $40 million tax break for Westcourt, which will include a 273-unit apartment building with 10 units set aside for affordable housing. But for some, that low commitment to affordable units is troubling.
Given the critical need for more affordable housing here in Orlando and in the Paramore community and downtown in particular, that is incredibly frustrating and really a missed opportunity for the city.
A deeper look at that development, that's ahead on The Wrap. The big stories this week from Central Florida Public Media. But first, these headlines. A Florida law that bans most abortions after 6 weeks takes effect this week. It replaces a law that limited abortions after 15 weeks. Opponents of the law say the stricter rules limit access to care and can put pregnant people in danger. Matt Staver is chairman and founder of Liberty Counsel, a religious organization that opposes abortion. Speaking with Central Florida Public Media's Engage, he says his organization is applauding the new law.
And Florida is setting the standard to protect life, particularly the most vulnerable among us. This really now makes Florida a sanctuary for life.
Staver says the new law comes with additional resources, including funding for pregnancy crisis centers, which encourage pregnant people to not get abortions and instead consider adoption. Critics of crisis pregnancy centers say they don't provide comprehensive reproductive health care services and often give out misleading or inaccurate medical information. Interim CEO of Planned Parenthood of Southwest and Central Florida, Barbara Dravicki, says now that the law is in place, her organization is focused on the availability of contraception and other services.
Planned Parenthood does a lot besides abortion services with the routine wellness health care that we provide, as well as cancer screenings and breast exams and all the sexually transmitted disease diagnosis and treatment that we do.
Voters may be able to enshrine abortion rights in Florida's Constitution after a Supreme Court ruling allowed a proposed constitutional amendment to be on the November ballot. A toll road is on its way to Split Oak Forest. Central Florida Public Media's Danielle Pryor has more.
The toll road will bisect Split Oak Forest, land which has been jointly owned and conserved by Orange and Osceola counties for almost 30 years. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission voted to approve the plan 6-1 at a meeting Wednesday after residents and local leaders opposed the change. The FWC ruling allows the Central Florida Expressway Authority to pave 60 acres of the land for the road. In return, the authority has pledged some $43 million towards conserving land in Osceola County, including the rest of Split Oak Forest. It also donated 1,500 acres of wetland and forest surrounding Split Oak. Danielle Pryor, Central Florida Public Media.
Targeting issues about sexual orientation and gender identity, Florida joined 3 other states Monday in filing a federal lawsuit challenging a new Biden administration rule about sex-based discrimination in education programs. The lawsuit, filed in an Alabama federal court by the attorneys general of Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, along with 3 organizations, seeks to block new regulations designed to carry out a landmark 1972 law known as Title IX, which bars discrimination in education programs based on sex. The lawsuit alleges, in part, that the Biden administration has overstepped its legal authority in extending the regulations to apply to discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody contends that the new rule is not what Title IX was originally meant to do.
We'll fight very strongly against this rule just to ensure that this does what Congress intended to do, and that's provide opportunities to everyone, and especially, I think, protect the security and fairness for our biological females.
Monday's lawsuit seeks a stay of the new rule's effective day and an injunction barring enforcement of the rule. These stories and more on our website. Visit cfpublic.org.
Support for The Wrap comes from our listeners. Make your contribution now at cfpublic.org to support trustworthy, independent journalism, including The Wrap. Community support is the foundation of this station and makes everything you hear possible. Support podcasts like The Wrap. Give online at cfpublic.org. And thanks.
A new sports and entertainment district called Westcourt is expected to begin construction at the end of this year next to the Kia Center in downtown Orlando. The Orlando City Council last week approved a $40 million tax break for Westcourt and plans to put $2.5 million towards the $500 million project. Mark Dorison is a law professor and director of legal clinics at Florida A&M University's College of Law. Central Florida Public Media's Talia Blake walked with Dorison around the area designated for the district and talked about how it will impact the surrounding communities.
Mark, we are outside right now, downtown Orlando, next to the Kia Center, and this area is populated with a lot of Black and brown residents. How will this district impact residents living here in downtown Orlando already?
There's going to be increased construction activity. There's going to be increased population in the area. What's most troubling, though, is part of the project is a 273-unit residential apartment building, but only 10 units have been set aside to be rented at an affordable rate. Given the critical need for more affordable housing here in Orlando, that is incredibly frustrating and really a missed opportunity for the city.
How have we seen this play out in other places, and kind of what happens with, property taxes when these sorts of entertainment districts are built?
There is an increase in property tax and property tax values, which puts pressure on existing homeowners, and that is the first step in the process of gentrification. So what you end up doing is financially displacing residents. What a lot of communities have done in response to those exact pressures in situations like this is they have adopted what are called community benefits agreements, which are actually contracts with the developer that mandates certain benefits be provided directly to the impacted communities, like specific affordable housing targets. For example, in Nashville in 2018, the city wanted to build a stadium and a mixed-use supporting development just like this, and the residents and advocates were able to get a community benefits agreement that guaranteed 20% of all the housing built would be affordable for low-wealth families and residents. We didn't get any of that in this approval.
As we're walking towards one of the affordable housing complexes here near the Kia Center already, if long-term residents of downtown Orlando are pushed out because they can't afford rent when rent starts to continue to raise after this entertainment district is built, what will their options be, given that all of Central Florida has an affordable housing issue?
It's really hard to say. When people are displaced from housing, those houses get lost to the community. What you're losing is really the character and identity of these neighborhoods, some of which are the, historic African American neighborhoods here in Central Florida. You see it in Paramore, we see it in Pine Hills and Washington Shores in Eatonville.
These sorts of public investments in private business are often controversial. Why is there the need to invest public dollars in these sorts of things?
Well, I'm not sure there is, actually. I know the reason why cities do it is because they feel like they're in this competition with other cities, certainly when it comes to things like stadiums. And there is certainly a sense, and I think city leaders believe sincerely, that this is an investment that will bring more resources back into the community through the tax dollars that will eventually be collected many, many years from now. The problem with that, I fear, is it's kind of a municipal trickle-down model, right? The idea is we're going to give public money away to these very wealthy developers and owners, and eventually the benefits will slowly come down to the community. And what we know is that's just not realistic. And it doesn't get to the kind of more institutionalized issues that our community and others have, like access to affordable housing, like the impacts of gentrification.
Mark Dorison, thank you so much for talking with me today.
It's been a pleasure.
That was FAMU Law's Mark Dorison. For a more in-depth version of this conversation, visit cfpublic.org. That's it for The Wrap this week. This podcast is produced by Central Florida Public Media with assistance from News Director Latoya Dennis and Digital Director Ryan Ellison. I'm Brendan Byrne. This is The Wrap.